Greetings and hallucinations to all you folks out there. It is time for another entry in Another One Bites the Dust. This time it is King Nessie's turn. He is going to be red. Both players wearing the Cybern faction. Excellent choice on Twin Rivers. This is a fantastic map. A lot of you guys have already heard my opinion on it from previous casts. Lots of space, lots of run-bys, lots of options. Overall encourages awesome gameplay and is quite a difficult map to master. I have already done one replay on this map for someone who was trying to figure out how to conquer a turtle player. Well, this is just a general inquiry as to how do I not die on Twin Rivers. Well, hopefully we will discover that. Alright, again, the player is King Nessie as Cybern, going for a very solid initial build order. Land Factory, 2 P-Gens, Mass Extractors, moving over to the side with an Engineer to pick this up and some Reclaim. I would encourage you, King Nessie, just as a tip for something you may not know, as opposed to a patrol order, you can hold down Alt and right-click for an attack move, and you can actually do that directly out of the factory. You have your engineers bunching up right here. Well, actually, that was building power, so really it's not bunching up. You are making use of your engineers. But if you Alt right-click after selecting the factory, it will place... Let me see if it'll do it real quick here. No, I can't show it to you. It'll place an attack move order, so your engineers will come out here and immediately start reclaiming, and they have a huge reach. If you place a single attack move order out of a land factory, if the engineer's here, it will reclaim everything in a radius like that big. So it is a pretty useful feature. And then for freestanding engineers, an attack move order basically means they move in a relatively straight line, reclaiming a swath of land. Alright, scouts going out, that is a good choice, and you do have hunters. I would say by the time it is 2 minutes and you're floating this much mass, I probably would have built Mantis instead of hunters, simply because they're more hardy, and the other player might have hunters as well, and you would be able to kill his hunters with your Mantis. Strength of the Cybern is the Mantis's speed, and you can run in a hurry with them. Alright, let's see here. Going second land on Twin Rivers, if you build 7 power generators after, well, 7 total, 2 right next to it, and then probably the next 3 up here. You can go second air, and 7 power generators is enough to run it, and that will allow you to scout. As another point, early raiding is incredibly effective on this map. And there is the Mantis, and since you went hunters, it's going to be very difficult to kill that thing. If you, from your factory, immediately build a Mantis, and possibly a scout if you wish, you can go all the way down this side, all the way over here, all the way around the back, and park your Mantis and Scout way back yonder. And you can sit back here until you see engineer blips, and then you can raid with your Mantis and kill off the engineers that are trying to build the Hydro and trying to build these mass extractors back here. And right now, this is the worst thing that you can possibly do in all of FAF. Overflow mass. You're wasting 20 mass per second. That means that every 3 seconds, you have wasted the mass equivalent of a tank. So you can see how that would be bad. At the moment, you're not building anything with your ACU. You have an engineer assisting a land factory. An easy way to get rid of mass quickly when this happens is to start upgrading a mass extractor and assist it. I would not recommend that on this map because this is a land spam map. So you really want to stay tier 1 mass extractors for quite some time as you push with your tanks until you get a good handle on map control. But you really need to start building your land factories sooner. Another note would be to go for the Hydro sooner if you choose to underbuild power in such a way. because right now the second worst thing that you can possibly do in all of FA is stall power, and you are doing that now. When you power stall, your mass extractors stop functioning because, as you can see at the bottom, right there in the bottom left, that's upgrading. Let me get one that's not upgrading to show you. All right, see that -2 there? Mass extractors actually use power to extract mass from the ground. The T1 ones only use -2 power, but the tier 2 ones are like -50 something, I think. So when you stall power, you also stall mass production because your mass extractors stop working. So you are essentially wasting mass as well as stalling power. So it's just really, 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 really not a good situation to be in. Top priority should be spamming power as hard as you possibly can. Oh, wow. It was actually starting the air factory first. Okay. Well, at least you saw that. That is a good indicator of your observational skills that you would stop the air factory and move to the hydro. All right. Let's look at what else is going on here. Initial build is out of the way. You are actually engaging now and moving forward. So I'm going to bump up the speed to +2. I can still catch everything at +2, but we will get through this a little quicker. Alright, trying for a raid on the southern side. Unfortunately, he has more Mantis than you do, but this is awesome. Running back here, but you need to not stop moving. At this moment, I think the proper choice would be to send these Mantis this way and try to block off. Well, there isn't anything there, so never mind, ignore that. And again, overflowing mass, that means you do not have enough land factories. What I would be doing on, well, I can't speak too strongly because I am not by any means a pro level 1v1 player, but I do know that on Twin Rivers it is actually a really hard map to play because you do not have a hydro right next to your base, so you have to build power. After your initial little build right here, usually what I do is I send 1 or 2 engineers to the back here and I start a power generator spam, and you don't even have to think about it. Just set up a build queue of like 50 T1 P-gens. You can stop building the P-gens if at any point you feel like you have enough power, or you make the shift to tier 2 and start building tier 2 P-gens. But while you're focusing on other things around the map, your engineers will be automatically building power generators, and this mass stall situation, which caused you to not be able to build factories and all of that other stuff, will not happen. Also, more land factories is good. So I think this is pretty much... Oh, wow. Oh, I thought that was a tier 2 unit, but it was overlapping tier 1s. The overarching theme of this replay that I'm seeing is basically you need to build more power at the start. You need more factories and more build power because you are overflowing mass. I think, honestly, after seeing an attempt to raid and seeing some of the other things that you've done, I think you have a pretty good grasp of like basic game mechanics, but you really need to work on your economy. What might help is to actually sandbox. Go into a map by yourself and just start building. And I mean, play through it all the way. Build raiding units, send a raiding unit across, build a Mantis and a scout, or 2 Mantis and 2 scouts, something like that, with the engineer in between them, or just something to build combat units just to get used to it, and just try to build. Play the first 5 minutes of the game. Watch what happens to your eco. If you're power stalling, start again and try to work a P-gen or maybe 2 extra P-gens into your build early. If you're overflowing mass, you need to build another land factory sooner, or produce some more engineers. A good idea on a map like this is to have one factory that's producing like 2 tanks, 1 engineer on repeat. So you always have engineers that you can just grab to build stuff with. But I would do that. I would definitely sandbox a game or two, especially on Twin Rivers, because this is a very difficult map to get started on, and your starting build is absolutely critical to your success. So that would be my advice. You look like you're getting a pretty good grasp on it, and I think you will do well. It's just a matter of getting on your feet a little quicker at the start of the game. And here comes some jesters to wreck your world. That's not going to be pretty. I'm going to go ahead and buzz through the rest of this replay just to see how this wraps up. Some base destruction going on. These are unused units. They need to be pushed somewhere to do some kind of damage, just to take the focus of the other player off of your base for a few seconds. Any distractions you can offer him are always a good thing. Aggression wins games. Hands down. And there they go. Good deal. Alright, actually that's a nice little recovery. You have a very good... Now see, this is where you... it should have looked like this at the beginning, where you have mostly minus mass, you're pulling in some reclaim to make up the difference, and you have a lot of land factories and this enormous land spam. We're at 16 minutes, and this is generally what you should be seeing around the 9-minute mark, this quantity of units. Good job picking up your mass extractors, pushing out some engineers. Do have some tier 2 units, going to move in and wipe out the expansion. Now see, now that you've gotten rolling, your unit control is pretty good and everything is moving along fine. It's just that beginning, like I was saying. Do 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 do. Mana mana. Do 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 do. Mana mana. I've had that song stuck in my head all day. It is a happy song. It's not an entirely bad one to have stuck in your head, but I am dreading tomorrow because inevitably that song will still be there. Started singing it, and now it's going to be with me for months. You are welcome, people. I have now stuck it in your head. When you're laying awake at 3 a.m. with that rattling around between your ears, you can thank me. That was so close to a power stall, it's not even funny. Still bouncing around, still too much mass in storage, not enough build power. About to overflow. Even if you don't overflow, honestly, in a 1 versus 1, in a team game you can get away with storing mass because, you know, you have teammates to bail you out, potentially, if things go downhill too much. But this 2,000 mass that sat in your storage for, you know, 3 or 4 minutes, or 2 or 3 minutes, I should say, that 2,000 mass converted into units next to your base is more than the mass that he has here in these units. So yeah, just better use of your income and fix the starting build, which I think you can easily manage, and you should be fine. I hope that helps you out. That is going to wrap it up for this cast. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want me to critique one of your games, leave me the replay ID in the comments below, and I will get to it as quickly as I can. Thank you much, guys.